Hey you! Yes you! Have you seen those memes about Harambe's death putting us in the bad timeline whenever something goes horribly wrong? And as you laugh, part of you shudders knowing there's some truth in it? Do you feel like you're in a dream state whenever you watch the news because the crazy stuff going on is too unreal to be really happening? Do you feel like society's gone wrong? Well, so do I, and so does the rest of the internet as well. But there's one problem. No one can decide when the world entered this Mad Max level hellscape. There's so many differing opinions of the Nexus event that did it. 2020, 2016, the Gulf War, 9/11. This is why I'm here today. I'm gonna find out when all this happened. When did the world go wrong? Throughout my many travels through the internet, there are two major times people felt the world became an unreal nightmare. 2016 and 2020. I think we all know why 2020 was insane, that you got a World War III threat, Brexit, polar vortex collapse, the Australia fires, the Amazon burning down so much you could see it from space, and most of all, COVID. Everybody getting locked in their houses and watching this crazy stuff going on did things to them, and it seemed like it came out of nowhere too. Sure, stuff was a bit bumpy beforehand with global warming and stuff, but this hit everybody like a truck. We haven't decided if 2020 was when things objectively went off the rails, but this is definitely when it felt like it for me. I remember the beginning of 2020 like the back of my hand. I was looking at everybody talking about Iran causing World War III and thought to myself, man, this year's gonna be rough if it starts off like this. I was right. I remember seeing the beginning of COVID. I was in school and started panicking over it when it got into my country. They thought I was insane. They thought I was overreacting. They thought I was mad. And I wasn't. I definitely wasn't. I knew what was up. I saw the darkness ahead of us. And ever since then, everything has been insane. 2021 was a bit calmer, but still nasty with Afghanistan being taken by the Taliban. But 2022, they're just firing things again. Gas prices, housing crisis, worker shortage, monkeypox, the invasion of Ukraine, etc. And this is just what happened so far, man. It really does seem like 2020 was the beginning of the end. But then there's an issue. If 2020 was when we entered hardcore mode, why do people think 2016 was when it went wrong? Well, prepare to expand your mind, because the answer is a little bit complicated. Truth be told, there was no specific point where things went wrong. It was more like a season per se, a period of chaos. Here is how said period, which I will now refer to as the period of turmoil, is structured. The period of turmoil began on 9/11. Okay, this may sound insane and a bit insensitive, but hear me out here. After 9/11 happened, a legion of societal pressures, movements, and tensions slowly built up throughout the 2000s until the dam finally broke and all hell broke loose during 2020 and onwards. 9/11 was an omen of death for what was to come in the 2000s. And if you want more proof on the stuff building up to 2020, here is a montage. Pathogens coming from China and the Chinese government's failures to contain them, starting with SARS and leading to the global COVID-19 epidemic, the war on terror being waged for 20 years and ending when Joe Biden pulled the military out of Afghanistan, causing the Taliban to take over the local government, climate change becoming more and more noticeable until it caused the Amazon and Australia fires, which were visible from space, might I add, mistreatment of workers leading to the worker shortage that happened recently, rising tensions between Russia and Ukraine building up to the Russia-Ukrainian war, in the age of misinformation. This caused a major distress in science building throughout the 2000s until it became a much more overlooked problem during the COVID pandemic, but it was still an issue, causing anti-vaxxers and those lunatics who thought 5G causes COVID. The age of misinformation could be an entire video all on its own. Now, chances are this will keep on happening for a while. Misinformation will probably become a genuine threat sometime in the near future. And the disasters from global warming will only get worse if it isn't stopped or something else ends the world before it can. But eventually, if the world survives here, these disasters should subside. We will enter an unprecedented age of prosperity and quality of life. And then, the disasters will come back again, and again, and again, because of one thing I haven't talked about yet. The very force that caused the period of turmoil, and it's something you know very, very well. Now, you may be wondering what the force that plunged your life into the living nightmare you're stuck in is. I'm not trying to sound like the Unabomber here, but it's technology. Every time there is a major technological revolution, everything goes horribly wrong, especially around the end of said revolution. Let's take a look at the Second Industrial Revolution, for example. It had the World Wars, polio, the Great Depression, and 1918, the supposed worst year in all of recorded human history. Like in the Digital Revolution, which is what caused the 2000s and all of its horrors. After 9/11, the gateway into the period of turmoil, countless innovations in communication and digital technology were made, just like in the Second Industrial Revolution and the hellspawn it made. Ergo, if the world doesn't end, humanity will be doomed to repeat an endless cycle of unspeakable gauntlets of torment every technological revolution. Does this mean innovation is a curse? That scientists are mass murderers? Well, not exactly. After these nightmares that happened during the revolutions, society improves dramatically compared to society before the innovations. These cyclic descents into insanity are less like a curse of freak accidents and more like societal growing pains. But this poses the final question. Is this worth it? Is this spectacular post-revolution life worth the agony of getting there? Are inventors and innovators sacrificing a fellow man on the altar of advancement for nothing? I don't know, I just want to grill.